Hi, I'm Scott. I'm a Quiet Place fan.
Hi, I'm Senthil, and I'm a Bird Box fan.
So the two of us have decided since we disagree, we're going to start watching as many horror movies as we can and come up with a new way of rate them. Come join us.
Decoys. They can seduce anyone.
I could be with it again.
Your future is about to get rocked.
Take the Decoys. So,
Okay.
did you have an emotional reaction to Decoys? What kind and why?
What I was going to say is I thought it was a unique idea on sirens, right? That beautiful blonde, you don't know whether or not she's real or not, right? And
Mhm.
again, to me, it's that Barbie feel, right? It's the silicon Barbie toy that we look at and we're always going, "Oh, I wish I could have that." And then it turns out to be really bad. Now, what I loved about Decoys was I knew she was a siren. I mean, it,
Did you
you
the
knew
the,
it.
the, the brunette?
Yeah, yeah.
I had no, I really didn't see that one coming.
Really?
No,
I,
I didn't.
Tracy and I both went, yeah, she's a siren. But the beauty of it was to me is that I I was anticipating it, and I would have been surprised if she wasn't. Right. So either way, there was a payoff for me.
You froze, by the way.
God damn it!
You know what that reminded me of? I had to look it up. Remember Species
Yes, love species.
and
Yeah,
the sequel. So, is this materially different than Species, or is just ripping it off?
it's I would say it's a rip off, but with a little bit of a different catch, right?
Yeah.
Species, they created her in a lab. This are aliens from some frozen world that come down are trying to mate with men. That's where things got just weird to me. I mean, if they had turned it into just the sexual thing, it would have been better than going, oh yeah, we got to mate with guys because our race is going away. It it would have been way better. Again, Synthel, for the very and I'm coming back and like you and I have talked about, right?
Yeah.
I was in college and you look back, what are you trying to do? You're trying to bang, 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 bang. You're a college guy, you want to have sex, sex, sex. I thought that was the catch. I thought that was the thing, right? Hey, all right, baby, come on in. And then they just feed on you, right? They go then it became so we're trying to repopulate the species and you guys we can't get the temperature right. Here is the ooh, you go screw everybody, you're gonna get, you could get
Yes.
eaten by some Medusa like thing, right?
Yeah.
um but it was playing on this idea of we're always trying to get banged, the guy's always trying to have sex, and it's always with the hottest girl that they can possibly get, and they can't believe it when it actually happens. Well, the reason they can't believe it is because it's a freaking alien that eats you. um with
Did you?
me, I looked at that. It was a good idea, but they kind of ruin it.
I didn't find it to evoke any particular scare. The aliens were, similar but somewhat disturbing enough. The concept of this tentacle going down their throats, phallic
Yes,
and disturbing enough, but I didn't find it scary. What was interesting to me was this reminded me of the 80s type of
yes, Slither.
action.
Yeah,
Yeah, lighthearted. Then it turns really dark. People start to die, and
yeah,
his best friend dies, and it takes a different turn.
yeah. And I will say the other thing that turned me off of this was the stupid songs they had. Like the whole song they're playing when you're driving away in the ambulance. I'm like, what are you doing? What?
So I looked this up, and it's a $5 million Canadian made movie. And surprisingly, there is a part two with the two last characters who make a reappearance. I had no idea. And
Really?
so they used local bands to where they filmed in Canada, and that's where the music came from. Is what I read on Wikipedia.
It was the worst. That's something that took away from the movie for me. The you had me at hello, then you have this stupid love song
And it goes on and
and
on
on.
and on and
And for
on.
me, that I almost went, I'm turning this off.
I
You know,
fast forwarded that section because I was like,
did
is
you?
this, yeah, it's like, this song going to end anytime or is this going to keep going? I did not fast forward a whole lot of the special. Like, there are some scenes like we've talked about the special that was just made my skin crawl.
So I immediately went. So here again, here we are. We're talking about sex again, right? Guys and sex. I think, and what I found interesting was is this movie and the movie that you picked for me were both about sex.
Yeah.
Both about sex. The thing about the special is it made me think, would you be willing to stick it into a
Right.
hole if it was the best sex you were ever going to have, right?
Right.
Would you? And that creeped me out because I started thinking, well, would I? So in that movie, at the beginning, when takes and he puts his fingers
Yep.
into the hole, right?
Yep.
Which every guy would do.
Yes. In addition, put your eyeball in there saying what exactly am I.
Yeah. I tend to wonder, well, then how did you not feel in and go? But I mean, especially after you see the ending, right?
It was deteriorated because remember that when you see the ball at the end in
Oh
the
yeah, yeah,
bathtub, it is so deteriorated you can't really identify what it is. I thought it was some kind of space alien egg or some kind. That's
yeah,
what it looked like
yeah.
to me. And boy, didn't see that one coming.
No, I will tell you the ending of that I did not see coming. And it was frankly, it was really unsettling.
And for that matter, the decoys, I honestly didn't see that kind of an ending coming either.
Really?
No, because I was thinking 80s style movie where the hero gets away, and
Yeah,
I I enjoyed both, and the reasons why I enjoyed both because the special is different. It caught me off guard. The execution is could have been better. And the decoys because it gave me 80s nostalgia.
yeah.
Um, so because it reminded me of an 80s style movie, I thought it was entertaining and I wasn't scared by it. So yeah, I would say yeah, I enjoyed it. I found it entertaining, and therefore I would say that was my emotional reaction. I didn't hate it and I
Right.
didn't love it, but I thought it was yeah, I'd watch it once, either movie.
Okay, let me ask you this then. Would you classify the decoys as horror?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Would you or would you not?
I don't know. I'm torn, right? Because again, it's like we were talking about it earlier. Horror elicits some form of fear. To me, when I'm watching horror, I need to be afraid of something. I need to. By the end of that movie, I have to have a response that there's that little tickle right in the back going. That's for me, it was more like watching Reanimator, right? Which is Synthol, and again, this is where we keep coming back to Reanimator is definitely horror. I mean, it's gory as hell, and I love Reanimator. Um, but I could never that would never happen in a million years, right? Well, you're right. The decoys wouldn't happen in a million years. I don't know. You see, in this, I come back to how is it horror if you're not afraid? If at the end of it you walk away from it and you go, well, I mean, I wasn't really, it was a good movie, but is it horror or is it more like The Abyss, with a weird alien creature,
The Abyss was a science fiction movie that had scary elements in it.
Yes. So wouldn't Decoys be science fiction?
I think it's the opposite. I think the Decoys is a horror movie that used science fiction,
Yeah.
whereas the Abyss was the other way around. I don't know how you could not say that it. How you could say it's not a horror because you have aliens, you have um, aliens shoving their tentacles down some guy's throat. There's death. There's you know what's horrific about um, the special, other than every guy who watches that movie is going to be able to relate to it and cringe.
Yeah, I would agree with you. It would be tough to go to somebody and explain that as a horror film.
It's a good question, but I think they were both horror in their own way. And horror is, I think, especially in today's society, we would say subjective.
Yes,
Different
yes.
people find everything horrific. But if you're going to categorize movies, and you should to some extent, I think, at this point, until we see more movies, maybe we come to conclusion that categorization of movies is inaccurate, and there are elements in each movie. But
It's tough to wrap your hands around.
minutes
Okay.
going forward, we'll just talk about our specifically on how, what, and why we had an emotional reaction, if any, to the
Okay.
movie that we were assigned, and then we start recording, and then maybe we take a pause. I don't know, every number of episodes, where we go back and review our reactions at the time,
Yeah.
and try to find commonalities and build that scoring model, which I still hate the terms like you do. Uh, evaluation model. It's some way of describing how we describe the movie to others, and quantify and qualify why they should or should not watch it.
Yeah. I agree with you. I like it.